You know that you can't sell insurance over state lines. When does that provision get into this legislation?
Well, that's something that's been very important to this president. He has talked about that all through the campaign, all through the transition, and now as president, it's important to him. The Senate, as you know, will be writing a bill, or they will take up the House bill. That's up to Leader McConnell and the Senate. And Leader McConnell and the president are in regular communication about health care and everything else. The other thing is, let's not pretend and let's not forget, because the Democrats want people to forget and just to scare them, how we got to this place. 41 states saw deductibles increase. There's been an average of a 40% increase in people's premiums, 100% increase in some places. You have states now and counties, about a third of the counties in this country, all but 5 of the 99 counties in Iowa, that only have one provider. That's not choice, and that's not competition. And by the way, where the hell were those Democrats, excuse me, when veterans were dying waiting for care? I didn't see them coming on TV with hosts that just sat there listening to them, and they're screed. When there were veterans dying for care who deserve better, this president 2 weeks ago signed the Veterans Choice Act. He expanded it so that if you're a veteran who cannot get timely, quality care at a VA, you can access the private system.
I don't have a lot of time. I'm going to get to this. You and I both live in the state of New Jersey. New Jersey started when Obamacare came out with several providers. They're down to 2 now, and by the end of this year, they'll have 1. The state of New Jersey will have 1 provider, and that is the problem with Obamacare.
That's the problem with Obamacare. But our United States senator was on a different network saying there's going to be pain and suffering and death.
That's Cory Booker. Let's call him out.
That's terrible to say. People say he wants to run for president in 2020. You can't run for president scaring people and going on TV. No host asks you to produce any kind of evidence whatsoever that such death and destruction are going to befall people. I think they're running scared because they don't have a message. There's no economic message for the Democrats. They have no connective tissue with working class Americans. This last election with President Trump proved that.
I don't want to be one of those talking heads on the other side who didn't ask you about this. I really, really think it's very, very important to get that second phase 2 portion of competition across state lines.
Very important to President Trump.
If you're going to reduce the premiums, that for me, that seems like it's the only way to do it, other than having government put more and more money into the system, which I think a conservative doesn't want to happen.
And remember, even though the Democrats made this very partisan yesterday, the president did not. You heard Leader Kevin McCarthy say the first time President Trump called him, he said, don't give me a health care bill that's good for the Republican Party. Give me one that's good for the American people. And even yesterday, although he said the Republican Party came together because we couldn't rely on any Democratic votes, we welcome them. Tax reform, infrastructure, we welcome your help defeating ISIS. Come aboard, Democrats. But we had 0. But he wanted something that actually helps Americans. We hear from people every single day who are suffering under Obamacare, and this is for them.
I don't have a lot of time. The Freedom Caucus somehow came on board. What was it that pushed them over the line?
Well, I think it was a better bill for them, and it had more competition in it, less spending, perhaps less, I should say, wasteful spending. But also, I think it's the personal relationships that the president was able to build with Mark Meadows, the head of the House Freedom Caucus, with Tom MacArthur, the head of the Tuesday group, also from New Jersey, and even people who aren't part of any of those groups, where he kept saying, how do we get to yes? He's the ultimate deal maker. He's the most brilliant communicator and natural connector with people I've ever seen, and that goes beyond the electorate. Now it works with his own Republican conference in the House. He was able to talk to them very patiently, very respectfully, invite them in, talk to them on the phone. He and the vice president, I think, deserve the lion's share of credit on that.
He now has a bit of a tall. He's going to have to do a little deal making on the Senate side of the equation.
That's all right. That's why he's there, and he can do it. He will.